Hello guys, what is up? It's your boy Spooky Noodles, aka Nicholas Gray. I am back with another video. Today we are discussing coming of age horror. So strap in, get ready, because we're going to a trip to the past. So first of all, I would like to say I apologize for the fan. It is hot here in Michigan right now. So I have my fan blowing air at me right now. I also have a fan up there blowing air. So if you can't hear me, I might have to just end the recording now. But, you know, I'm probably going to stop the recording real quick just to see if I can hear myself. But if I can hear myself, then we're going to continue. If I can't hear myself, then I'm going to shut off all the fans, then we're going to continue. So, all right, so strap in. Okay, so I shut the fan off because it was a little hard to hear me. So, but I'm going to have to just sweat it out. But, today we're talking about coming of age horror, and I'm first going to start with 4 books. Well, let's do five books that I loved. Old school coming of age horror, then new school coming of age horror. 5 books of new coming of age horror. Then we'll do, I don't know, 4 or 5 books I want to read from old school horror, and 5 books of new age horror coming of age horror that I want to read. So I'm gonna pause the video one more time and get the books. So yeah, okay, so first we're gonna start with the old school coming of age horror books, and the first book I want to show off or showcase is The Traveling Vampire Show by Richard Lehman. Now this one is iffy for a lot of people, especially Richard Lehman fans. Lehman fans think this is tame for Lehman's writing. I personally love this book. It's about these kids who really are just preparing to go see a show, a traveling vampire show, if you will. And yeah, it's just a course of them all the way up to leading to the event, and then the event happens at the end of the book, and it's very fun. There's a lot of mystery going on, and then there's an ending and a twist that it's impossible to see coming. So it's wonderful, and I love this book so much. I highly recommend it, but unfortunately, it's 50-50 for people. Some people love this book, some people hate this book, you know, it really, and then there's a lot of people who are in the middle, but from my perspective, I've seen a lot of people not like this book more so than they like this book, but I personally like it, so I had to put it on the list. So yeah. Next is my all-time favorite book of all time, and my all-time favorite coming of age book. So yeah, I mean, if it's my favorite book of all time, of course it's going to be my #1 coming of age book. But that is Fear by Ronald Kelly, and of course my copy is signed. Ronald Kelly is my favorite author, and Fear is like no other. It's about Jeb Sweeney. I knew his name. I had to make sure, though. I was going to call him something else. Jeb Sweeney and his adventure to Fear County. In fact, this book was originally going to be called Fear County, but because of Zebra, it just cut out the county and put in the fear, and now it says it lives in everybody or everyone. So yeah, this is about him going to Fear County in the Tennessee backwoods. That's where Fear County is. And, basically the story starts off with this monster in his town that's eating, it's satiating itself on the people of the town, and it cocoons them in a cave or a cove or something like that. And, an underground tunnel, if you will. And, so basically, Jeb has to go to Fear County in order to go to talk to the witch lady. What was her name? I forget her name at the moment, but it doesn't say on the back. It doesn't look like it says on the back. I forget what her name was. But anyways, this has one of my favorite characters in it, Roscoe Ledbetter. I think that's how you say his name. I think that's his name. Roscoe, you know, it's just Roscoe. I think his last name might have been Ledbetter, but I could be wrong. Roscoe is just one of those characters that you're gonna love, And I guarantee these characters, one thing Ronald Kelly's really good about is making you care about characters. And race is mentioned in this book quite a bit, especially towards the end. If that's not for you, if you can't handle racism in books, then maybe this isn't for you. But I think it's a great book. It's a great coming of age book, the best in my opinion. And nothing beats this. In fact, I have a tattoo of Fear. So, I'm a little biased, but of course, Ronald Kelly's my favorite author, and Fear is my favorite book of all time. So I have to shout out Fear by Ronald Kelly because it's just a wonderful book. So there you go. Next is a book that, I read and I did enjoy it, but it is at the bottom of my coming of age list. But still, I think it's worth mentioning because a lot of people love this story. So there will be another book in this collection, or this little video that I'm doing. But it's Summer of Night by Dan Simmons. It's a big chunker of a book, and I have the copy which has the die cut. So that's really cool. I really, really, really like this book, but unfortunately, it's not my favorite coming of age book. There is an awesome bell tower scene. At least I think it was a bell tower. There's a scene with a bell, and honestly, I can't recall how this one ends, but I do remember the character. There's a character in this book that I really cared about, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but something happens to this character, and it just left me in awe. I was like, what? So anyways, that's Summer of Night by Dan Simmons. Everyone loves this book, it's in everyone's top 5, For me personally, it wasn't my favorite cup of tea. It wasn't my favorite coming of age story of all time, obviously, is what I'm trying to say. It was a good book, but it's just not my favorite coming of age book. So yeah. Next is The Voice of the Night by Brian Coffey, a.k.a. Dan Simmons. Not Dan Simmons, that was the last guy. I'm forgetting his name. He's like one of the biggest authors right now. Dean Koontz, that's it. Dean Koontz. So yeah, The Voice of the Night is just really about this kid and his friend his friend is kind of crazy, if you will. And his friend, the main character, is oblivious to his friend's mischievous ways, if you will. It all leads to an excellent climax that I absolutely adored. It's a definite coming of age story, whereas in like the kid meets a girl and it makes him think differently, and a girl gets in between his friendship, and it just spirals out of control, and it's awesome. I love this book so much. This one's actually a really good copy. But anyways, that's Voice of the Night by Brian Coffey, aka Dean Koontz. And then last, I can't not talk about coming of age stories without mentioning Boy's Life by Robert R. McCammon. Now, again, just like Summer of Night, Boy's Life is a really, really good coming of age story. But when it comes to coming of age horror, it's not the horror. Yes, there's elements of horror littered in this book, but it's not a horror story at all. It's more of a Stephen King Stand By Me feel to it than anything else, or The Body by Stephen King. But regardless, Boy's Life does deserve mentioning because it is a fabulous story. No, it's not horror, and this is supposed to be all horror books, but it's hard to find coming of age horror sometimes, even though I have a whole shelf of books that are stacked twice. I have a lot of coming of age stories, but and I'm always looking for more. So if you guys have any suggestions for coming of age horror, leave them down in the comments. Most likely I already have the book, but I'm just not showcasing it here today. But anyways, Boy's Life is about this boy. in the beginning, he witnesses something that turns his world upside down on its head. But then you follow this boy's like basically whole childhood, and it's just fun stuff. And he has this bike, which is like old school, you know, like it feels to it. So yeah, I cannot not mention Boy's Life is what I'm trying to say. So yeah, there you go. All right, so now we're gonna go and hop over to new age horror, coming of age stories. And the first book I have here is The Taste of Blood by John Nathan. Now, I'm not going to say this book is extreme. It's not extreme. It's very tame for John Nathan. So if you've heard of John Nathan before, but you're scared to read him because he is very over-the-top extreme, I recommend reading this book because it's not very extreme. It does have some gross scenes in it, but no, it is not extreme horror. This one's very tame for John Nathan, but still, it's a great coming-of-age story. In fact, I think it's a good thing he reeled it back for this story. I don't think it would have been as good if he went all out with the extreme gore and stuff with this one. I do like this one a lot. It's actually probably like number 3 or 4 for my favorite coming-of-age story of all time. I don't know the list right now at the top of my head other than Fear being number 1. But The Taste of Blood's up there in the top 5. Love this book, and I highly recommend it to anyone interested in coming-of-age horror. Oh, it's about these 2 girls, and yes, it's about girls for a change. You know, you always hear about coming-of-age stories about boys, but you rarely hear them about girls when they're not in when they're not part of horror. You know, in the horror community, there isn't a lot of girl coming-of-age stories. Now, I'm starting to find more and more as I go along, but it has been difficult finding horror coming-of-age stories that are surrounded by women, or girls. And yeah, this one is about this girl who basically is unfortunately taken advantage of, and she believes she's become a vampire. So it's up to her friend to help her through this little phase, if you will. And yeah, I really genuinely loved this book. It's genuinely awesome. It has a lot of heart in it, and it's not that big. So this is a new coming-of-age horror story that you really need to read. All right, next is a cosmic horror coming-of-age horror story. I guess I said horror twice, so I didn't need to say that twice. But it's cosmic coming-of-age horror, and that is Shelter for the Damned. Look at that art by Trent Henderson, right? Is it Trent Henderson? I think it's Henderson. I know it's Henderson for sure, but what is his last name? I'm forgetting. Trevor Henderson. What did I say? Trent Henderson? Trevor Henderson. So yeah, this is about a kid who finds this house or cabin or something, shed maybe. He finds this house that's abandoned, and he goes inside and he gets this weird feeling, but he's like, even though he's a little, you know, taken aback, he's so like magnetized to this house that he has to keep coming back and back and back. And it's a wild book, and you don't actually know what happens in the end, which is one of my issues I had with it, I think. But overall, it was a very exciting read, very good. I highly recommend it, and for new age horror, it's really good. Coming of age horror, that is. So yeah, and it's a good cosmic horror story too, if you're just into cosmic horror. All right, next we have 2 books, both by Jeff Strand. So first one, we have Autumn Bleeds into Winter. My copy is, of course, signed by Jeff Strand. This is Tunics, Cares That Care 2021. Autumn Bleeds into Winter. It's about this kid who lives in Alaska, as you can see by the Northern Lights. He witnesses, sort of witnesses his friend kidnapped, and eventually believes that he's been killed by a neighbor. So he is trying to figure out a lot of things, whether he's trying to catch the man in the act, he's trying to figure out if his friend's actually dead, and it's just a great book, and autumn bleeds into winter. It's in the title. It goes from autumn and winter, you know. It's a great book. Highly recommend it. Jeff Strand is amazing, and while we're talking about Jeff Strand, we can't talk about Dweller. We cannot not talk about Dweller. Because this book is about a Sasquatch or a Bigfoot, and it's about this kid's whole life, even into his adulthood, and it comes to an amazing end that you just don't see coming. It's an amazing book. Again, I think mine is signed or not. Apparently, I didn't get this one signed. I thought I did get this one signed, but apparently I did not. Because there's no signature. Why is that? I thought I bought this straight from Jeff Strand. Oh well, anyways, he either forgot to sign it for me, or this is not the book I got. Oh, you know what? I didn't get this one signed by him. I got another book signed by him. Anyways, this one is a fun story. Like I said, it's about this kid's whole life leading up to his, well, I can't say. I kind of already did say. I hinted. But it's amazing. I loved it so much, and Jeff Strand's amazing. And then now we're down to my last one, which I don't unfortunately know where it is located at the moment. I do own it. I just don't know where it is. And that is Within the Woods by Tony Urban. You know what? In fact, I might have given it to a friend. So, I'll leave a picture right here. If I remember to do it in post-credits or in post-editing. Within the Woods is an amazing story. It's about these kids. They're doing bicycle jousting and stuff like that. Very fun stuff. But there's this parasitic alien going around town and corrupting the town. And it's up to the boys to stop it. That's all. Why it's called Within the Woods, I'm not really sure. Yes, the alien monster comes from the woods in the beginning of the book, I think. But then the woods is never regarded, or not regarded, but it's never mentioned again, really. So I don't know why it's called Within the Woods, really. But still, regardless, it's an awesome name for a book. And the cover's amazing, and the story's amazing. So yeah, definitely one is worth checking out. Okay, now we have come to the point where I want to talk about coming-of-age books that I want to read right now. Well, in the future. I want to read them very badly. They're all coming-of-age horror books, and I feel like they're worth mentioning too. So we're going to just go through them. We're going to go through the New Age and the Old Age, or Old Age and the New Age. So first we have Neverland by Douglas Clegg. This one is about this kid who lives basically on an island, I guess. And he finds a door maybe in a shed or something. And that leads to a different place, Neverland, if you will. And I don't know much about this book other than Douglas Clegg is an amazing author. And if you don't know anything about Douglas Clegg, I've read one book by him. What was it? I think it was The Halloween Man or something like that. I don't remember what it was called. It was good. I think I was too rough on it back in the day, but I did like it. But anyways, Douglas Clegg's amazing. He's part of the LGBTQ community. So give him some love, especially, I think it's this month, that's Pride Month. Definitely give him some love. And yeah. Alright. Next we have James Newman's Midnight Rain. Now, Midnight Rain is, well, I don't know what it's about. I'm guessing it's about a police car. You know, I don't know what it's about. I could read the back for you guys, but I feel like that would take a while, so I'm just going to skim through it real quick. Oh, it's about this kid who witnesses this woman beaten in the woods. And and I guess he's maybe spotted by the killer, and he has to figure out a way to he doesn't know how to deal with what he's seen. So yeah, it's Midnight Rain by James Newman. I hear wonderful things about this book, just like I heard wonderful things about Neverland by Douglas Clegg. So I can't wait to read it. All right, next is again another coming of age book, obviously, because this is all coming of age books. Why did I even say that? Anyways, this is Straight On Till Morning by Christopher Golden. So this one takes place in 81. It's about kids goofing off on their last day to hang out at the mall before they have to go back to high school. But then a gang of bullies kidnaps somebody, and the kids have to get her back, I guess. So that's Christopher Golden's Straight On Till Morning. I want to read this one. It sounds wonderful and amazing in every single way. I'm just trying to make sure my copy's not signed, but yeah, Christopher Golden. That sounds like a good book. Next, we have The Lake by John Peyton Cook, or Coke. This one is about a lake which is festering with just gross stuff, and this guy falls in it, and I guess he's like mutated into this monster, I guess. That's what my guess is. And he starts terrorizing people of the town, and it's up to these kids to stop it, just like every other coming-of-age story. But this one is shorter for an old-time book. It comes in at 218 pages. So I'm really looking forward to reading this one very soon. And yeah, it just looks rad. Look at that cover. And my copy's in pristine condition. So yeah, definitely worth mentioning. And now to the book that I'm actually currently reading. I'm on page 70 of Junkyard by Barry Porter. My copy's in pretty good shape, even though I'm reading it currently. So I'm currently reading this one, so I should be able to tell you what it is about so far. So yeah, this is about these kids who set up this fort in the junkyard. I forget what the fort's called. But basically they're getting older now. They're in their teenage years, and they're starting to lose their childhood innocence. Nick, not me, Nick, the main one of the main characters, he's bringing his girlfriend to their little hub, if you will, and to their fort, and yeah, he wants to get it on with her, and so yeah, one boy is actually jealous because he likes the girl he's going to do this to, or do this with. And then the other two are planning on sneaking and watching him do it while he's in the moment. So that's all I really know. I'm on page 70. There's these dog-like monsters in the junkyard eating things. So far, there is not animal abuse per se, but an animal does die in this book. So if that hurts you, don't read this book. But I am enjoying it so far. It's really good, and I think it was worth a mention. Now for new age horror that I really want to read. First, we talk about John Quick's What Sleeps Beneath. Now, this is about these kids who go to an abandoned asylum to steal a trophy to show their school bullies that they were able to do that, because they're basically dared into it. But they run into some problems, and yeah. So, they basically knock a stake free, I guess, and this monster vampire thing, I guess, is coming after them. So it sounds great. It actually sounds like my coming-of-age abandoned asylum story, but my story is not done yet, so I can't really say it's like that. So yeah, but it looks like a fun book, and I thought it was worth a mention. Next is Touch the Night by Max Booth III. Big chunker of a book, coming in at geez, 402 pages. So, and that cover looks so much like my artist cover, you know? But anyways, one of my artist covers. Who did the cover? I would love to know. I guess it doesn't say who did the cover. Oh, here it is. Dreyer Wilk and Matthew Revert. So, yeah. Touch the Night is about these two black kids, I think. And it says Stranger Things and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre unite to form a blood-soaked testimony of violence and corruption. But yeah, this is about these corrupt cops who are trying to ruin the lives of these two black kids. And I cannot wait to read this book. It just sounds right up my alley. It just sounds amazing. And I can't say much about it because I don't know much about it. But yeah, totally check that one out. Next is Wormwood by Chad Lutzke and Tim Meyer. I have no idea what this book is about, but I hear so much people raving about it. Especially when Nightworms was endorsing it so much. So, yeah, this is about these kids who meet a girl, and basically she tells them to do something, and that's really all I know. This one sounds amazing. That cover is just dope. I forget who did the cover. Maybe Don Noble. Actually, it's Keelan Patrick Burke that did the cover. So, yeah. But, yeah, definitely check that one out. The next is Christopher Ruffdy's Pillowface. This is about a kid who finds a serial killer and befriends him, and they go on an epic journey. So, yeah, how could you not want to read this book? Christopher Ruffdy is one that I've been wanting to read for a while now, and this one looks fascinating, so I cannot wait to read it. And, yeah, that's really all I have to say. So, yeah. And then last is the biggest chunker of them all, Malignant Summer by Tim Meyer, another Tim Meyer book. This one is, like, huge. Like, this one comes in at 556 pages. It is a chunker. And it's about this, like, parasitic chemical monster thing that's infecting people. And basically, yeah, it's everyone's getting ill and basically turning into these monsters, I guess. I don't really know much about this book, but I've heard wonderful things about Malignant Summer, and it's one of those books that I really want to check out. And that cover, how could you not like that cover? Who's the cover by? This is probably by Keelan Patrick Burke as well, but yeah, it is. I thought I'd just check, though. Gotta read this book. It sounds amazing. And that is it. I hope you guys liked my little video. It's coming of age horror, and I thought I'd show off the books I've read and the books I want to read that are coming of age. Now, these aren't all the coming of age books I own. I own so many more, and if you wanted to one day see my whole collection, I can do that. But for now, I think this has been long enough. So, yeah, I hope you guys are having a great day. I hope you have a spooky night, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out, guys.